What's up, everyone? This is part 2 of our APBL Season 14 breakdown. We'll be doing the second half of the league, so this is going to be everything in the Exeggutor division. Back here again with Jonzu. How's it going, Jonzu?
What's going on, guys? I love this division. Just by the way, I'm very biased to it.
I think that might have something to do with the fact that your team's in this one. And it's also named
That and
Exeggutor
because
division.
that and because it's Exeggutor. What's not to like?
Oh yeah, the naming convention for the two divisions was literally just so I could have one of them be the Exeggutor division. Okay, so first team up, we got the Dunedoo Dittos. First thing that stands out to me about this team is 3 fake out.
See, like, I mean, okay, Cole obviously is like a huge threat overall, just because of like, the way it's been progressed. I mean, it's one of those mons that definitely has been able to get more advanced as every series has gone on. Similar to like Venusaurs and Charizards and stuff like that. So I feel like because of that, it's one of those threats where you have to immediately respect, but at the same time, you have the Cobalion there, and that's another threat that you obviously have to respect more than anything because of the setup that it has with the Sneasel, and then just like, okay, you have those two threats, and then you have a Azumarill, which honestly to me is the sleeper along with Shedinja, because the Azumarill has so many ways to be run that it really could sweep you as well if you're not prepared for it. With the belly drum, for example, and it being Sap Sipper. I think Sap Sipper belly drum is like absolutely insane. I feel like it's something that's not even explored right now, and I don't think we're ever going to really see it advance because the series is going to end soon. But it's definitely a great grab here, because it could be like a fake out. Like, it's like it could make it look like I'm going to set up the Cole, but you're not, and you're really going to set up the Azumarill.
Yeah.
So it's definitely another mode that they have to play here.
Yeah, and the Azu can also just be complete supportive with Perish Song.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And when you have stuff like Clefairy and Shedinja, like Perish Song can get pretty annoying. And speaking of the Shedinja, the thing I found about Shedinja is it is, whether you bring it or not, it is a team building cost that your opponent has to pay to respect it. Because your opponent could choose to just build their team normally, or they can choose such that every Pokemon has a move to hit it. But if they're doing that, they're giving up other stuff and making yourself weaker against the rest of the team, regardless of whether or not you actually bring it.
Right. I mean, like this team, you basically you have to get the team preview right. If you get it wrong, you could get immediately just rolled and just cost you a game, or you would have to play somehow very defensively for you to prevent the setup. And I mean, like, the other thing that I think to notice is that there's not a lot of bulk on this team. I mean, the bulkiest thing that you really could build is really the Colossal. The Cobalion, you kind of could get a little bit bulky, but it's still pretty frail overall. I mean, there's a lot of Saboteurs as well, though, with the Sableye, and the Slowbro is like a Saboteur in and of itself if you try to run like a Yawn set with it and try to catch your opponents off guard with the Yawn. And then obviously the Shedinja is a very annoying Saboteur because this team has double ally switch. It has triple ally switch actually, because it has quadruple ally switch actually. I forgot Sableye, Clefairy, Shedinja, and Rotom Frost all get it. So
doesn't Slowbro as well?
I don't think so, because I have Slow King, and I don't think it has it, but I could be wrong. I'll double check. But yeah, I mean, that in and of itself, it has a lot of nuisances that are very annoying to deal with. However, it definitely does lack bulk, which is something I think is something that opponents could benefit from when they're going up against this team. But again, it's not going to be easy because you really have to get team preview right. So this is definitely going to be a tough one for anybody to face for sure.
Yeah, and the Clefairy helps out a lot with the bulk.
Oh yeah, I mean, friend guard is so broken, and then you got to call the protects right too, because
Yep.
you know, like if you get that protect wrong, you target into the clef with on it, it's just so bad because it's like another turn that they get friend guard. They have friend guard accessible to them with follow me. So
yeah, I like how this team, because it has Clefairy, there's only one other steel weakness on this team, and that's Sneasel, and you're never going to have Clefairy Sneasel out at the same time, or at least if you do, something's gone horribly awry. So, like, yeah, you can launch Steel-type moves into Clefairy, but, like, it's not going to hit anything else if they, like, ally switch or just switch it out, which I think is really good team building.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. You got any more to add for this team?
Don't sleep on Rillaboom.
Oh yeah,
definitely could surprise
we haven't even talked about Rillaboom. Like, Rillaboom can win games on its own too.
Yeah, I've seen some wild Rillaboom sets, and that thing is like a menace if you if you don't respect it. Just because, like, I mean, like, it's another thing that could run like a lot of different sets. It even could be a Maxmon, and you wouldn't even guess.
Yeah, it can. No matter what set you play, it can always be a backup Maxmon. Like, something went wrong, Rillaboom can always max because it's Gigantamax form. It's 160 base power for its grass type moves. It's hard to do worse than that.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on over to the Gitgood.
Gitgood Golisopods.
Yeah, I never know how to pronounce that Pokemon's name. Okay.
It's a mouthful.
This is a team.
And this team.
This team feels like pick 6 Pokemon at random, and you can probably do something clever with it. Like, there's no obvious synergy here that I can see, but I'm scared of everything on this team.
Okay. So Spectrio was another, it honestly was my second tier that I was going to pick, but I had a feeling I wasn't going to get the mons that I really wanted with it. And this was nowhere near the vision I had for it, like, at all. Like, I mean, like, there are some things I see that you can do, but, like, I just don't know. Like, you know, like I feel like, the main max options you're gonna want with this team, I mean, is between the Goodra, the Spectria, the Entei, and even the Registeel, because I think that the Registeel is gonna catch a lot of people off guard, because I see like a weakness policy Registeel happening here, because you have multiple ways of setting it up. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this is one of those teams, like, they're gonna max turn 1, try to roll you, and if you get rolled, you could possibly lose, but I think you can still come back because, like, they have no redirection.
Well, the thing I want to point out with this team is how much bulk this team actually has.
True.
Like, average bulk, special defense, over 100, this is the only team that gets even close to that.
Right. I mean,
and
yeah,
honestly, any Pokemon on this team could potentially be a Dynamax Pokemon. Or, for the most part, most of them can be support mons as well. I really feel like this team is going to be trying to pick apart whatever their opponent is doing.
Yeah, my only thing with this is that, like, I feel like the max, I don't know, like,
yeah, there's no, like,
Noivern is too frail. Like, Glisopod is just, like, I don't know, like, I haven't looked at its sets, but I know it's not the craziest thing in the world, and because of its ability, you don't really want to max it. And then, I mean, Serena could kind of hit hard. It's kind of like a budget Rillaboom in the sense of it has a cool ability and, like, decent attack. But then the Licky, like, you know, you want to set up Licky, it's like the only setup set I see on it is Belly Drum. You know, so, like, I think that, like, the Dynamax is definitely pushed onto the Goodra, the Entei, because, like, the Alcremie is the piece that this team, like, I feel like is what can carry it. You know, like the Decorate and having not really concerned of intimidate because of clear body, mirror armor, and inner focus. You know, like the other mons are mostly special. So this is definitely an interesting team to say the least.
Yeah, honestly, I expect to see Choice Golf Alcremie quite a bit.
Oh yeah,
just so it can decorate off before its other Pokemon, because this seems fast.
Yeah, and that's what I meant. But like, it definitely could start rolling you like a Spectrier Max with a Choice Scarf Alcremie decorate. Like that's gonna get somebody hard, and even if they don't get the decorate off, like Max Spectrier hits hard if you're not ready for it. Like, you know, like, and it's hard to tell. That's the other thing. Like a lot of Spectrier, the thing about Spectrier, which makes it so good, is that it's so versatile. You know, it's kind of like Dragon Ball in that sense, because it could be supportive or it could be offensive. So because of that, it has a lot of utility, and that's what makes it such a good S tier. It's one of the best S tiers in my opinion. So that's why I think this team is definitely interesting in the sense that it has really, really good options of what it can do to roll opponents from turn one. And then it has, like you said, the bulk to end game things, you know, because, I mean, sure, you have double steel, but, like, look at those steel types. Like, before we had Legends, Corviknight was an insane just end game sweeper to just outbulk opponents. Like in theory, in most cases, Corviknight could 1v4 an entire team in the end of it all.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not set up respecting it, you know. So, and the same thing with Registeel. So there's definitely a lot of options they have in terms of bulk and Dynamax, but support I feel like is a little bit lackluster aside from the Alcremie.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'd be terrified going up. Like, they lead Spectre Alcremie. It's like either this is going to be a decorate and the Spectre is going to pick up one-hit KOs, or they're going to Snarl plus Sacred Fire, and then you just like have no attack.
Yeah.
Or Charm.
It could go either way. It's a really tough one to call with this team too. But I do see like where things could like go wrong with this team. So I feel like you want to bring almost the same 6 every week. You know, like,
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
Well,
yeah,
Licky's good anytime you have a weather matchup.
True. And I do see Serena maybe having utility because of the fake out, preventing the fake out, or even preventing sleep. Really good.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Glisopod, I can't figure Glisopod out. And Noivern, like, I feel like Noivern is like a one-trick pony in my opinion. Like,
I mean, it can tailwind.
You know. Yeah, and that's what it does.
That's what it does.
And that's what I mean. Like that's what it does.
Yeah, but hey, like, some matchups just Dragon Flying can be really good coverage in some matchups.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you do have two Quake weak mons here that are really, really good, and 2 Quake immunities, so that is nice to have. But yeah, I can't see myself leading NT Registeel.
This team does an insane job covering its weaknesses too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, between the Goodra and the Alcremie, then the Spectrier and the Licky, then the Entei for the Registeel, the Registeel for the Goodra for the Entei for the Goodra. Like, it definitely has a lot of utility for coverage. The only thing that it doesn't have is an electric immunity. So, except for the resist of Serena, but this team is definitely good coverage.
It has multiple resists for electric. Yeah. The Guadalajara Gibbles.
Oof.
This team.
this is.
I'm scared of this
team.
Talk
first.
This is
my first week's match.
This is Comfy Dot Team if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
The Comfy plus Lapras, Comfy plus Moltres, both of those are going to be terrifying leads.
Yeah. And I have a Garchomp and a Thundurus.
Electric type is definitely how you get in through this.
But I mean, this is the thing about this team. It has a lightning rod user and triple ground.
Yeah.
So you
can't. You're not safe just launching electric type moves.
You're absolutely not. Like, not at all. Like, and The other thing is that like with this team, it has a lot. It has a lot that it can do that you have to respect. I mean, the Lucario and the Liepard as a lead is definitely something you have to keep in mind because of Justified and Beat Up. But I mean, I think what this team wants really bad is a Prankstermon, and it doesn't have it. And they oh no, I'm sorry, it does the Liepard. I'm wrong. So yeah, the
Liepard and
the Liepard is
Comfy.
the
Comfy is
Liepard
half
and
a.
Comfy.
Comfy counts as half a Prankstermon.
Yeah, but the light part is a nuisance because,
Yeah.
like, here's the thing: like, fake tears with this team, how do you stop it unless you have psychic terrain? Like, like
Hmm.
it's very, very, very annoying to get rolled with. However, there definitely is a lot of four times weaknesses, but they do kind of have coverage for.
Yep.
I mean, between the Rhydon, the Gastrodon, um. That's it. But they're like really, really big ones to have four times weaknesses that really cover for the main leaders of this team that you see Dynamaxing. You know what I mean? Like the Rhydon for Lapras and Moltres, and then like even the Gastrodon covering for the Sandaconda if it wants to max too, or the Rhydon for that matter. Like there's definitely a lot of things that this team can do, swapping in and swapping out wires to cover for each other's weaknesses.
Yeah.
I think that's all I'll say about this because I don't want to give too many of my thoughts away.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll say a little bit more. Like, this team is definitely going to be about correctly guessing whether the weakness policy is on the Moltres or the Lapras week to week.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing though. Like, I think with this team too is that you don't rarely bring both, like in team preview. You know what I mean?
I think you do.
I think if you do, then like I think the Moltres is better in the back because like the only utility the Lapras would have out of Max is Parasol, and I mean I don't know.
It depends on the matchup because
Right.
there's some teams that freeze dry just completely breaks apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of things that have threats. You gotta respect the Sandaconda, the Lucario, the Moltres, the Lapras, and the Gastrodon. The Gengar, the Gengar is interesting. I think the Gengar is definitely a sleeper. Rotom, but like,
well, the team doesn't have Shadow Tag, but it does have two different Pokemon with the ability to max and trap. So there's definitely some Parasonic shenanigans that can happen.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing. You would have to basically call that, and it's definitely a lot to deal with. So, but overall, sick team.
Yeah. So next up, we got the Hellas Mews.
Oh my goodness!
This is this is Trick Room. This is as hard as Trick Room can get.
I feel like that every season we always have one person that does this. And honestly, they always do really good. And I mean, it's because it's a threat. Like it's something that you have to respect.
I wish this was my cross division matchup. Honestly, given I have what's it called, Stack Attacka, but yeah, this team. There's so many ways to set up Trick Room on this team.
Yeah. I think with this team you want to figure out how
you have to be able to beat Hatterene Indeedee. Like if you can't beat that, don't bother showing up for the week.
Bro, Snorlax. I think Snorlax is the biggest threat.
Well, yes.
Snorlax and
well, the combination of Snorlax, Rhyperior, and Conkeldurr means you have so many Trick Room sweepers to have to prepare for.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this team is very weak to Intimidate for most of the sweepers. Then you got the Hatterene. Because again, like, Jelly's really not... Jelly's a very, very annoying support mon, for sure.
Well, Hatterene has Magic Bounce, so... intimidating it isn't that great.
Oh, I mean, I'm saying as far as the sense that like the rest of the team, like you got Araquanid, you got Rhyperior, you got Conch, even Ensign. Like Intimidate is definitely going to be the key against these sweepers. And then if you're going to deal with Hatterene, I mean, biggest thing with Hatterene is that you kind of just gotta like pivot around it very, very accurately, and or figure out a way to stop Hatterene in DD. The most, I mean, I think the biggest, most common lead since we had Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Hatterene in DD is the hard trick room of Gen 8.
Yeah. And then it does have self-weakness policy proc. I mean, this is definitely going to be a formidable team to deal with, no matter what, week to week.
I do like how the Trick Room Sweepers don't really like take each other's items. So like, this team you could just bring Hatterene, Indeedee, Ensign, Snorlax, Rhyperior, Conkeldurr, and just be like, pick which sweepers you want based on what your opponent brought, and just bring the same 4 mons all 3 games.
Yeah. And you got to deal with a potential Custap, Drum, Lax. And that's always so much fun to deal with. I mean, who doesn't love that?
Oh. God. So my biggest recommendation when your opponent has Snorlax is if you have a Pokemon that learns Haze that outspeeds Snorlax out of Trick Room, but if you give it a room service such that it's slower than Snorlax in Trick Room, so it goes first, Haze is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That's how I've dealt with it before.
I think Haze for this team in general is really good, and then you got to get some way to neutralize the terrain for sure. I mean, if you could get rid of that psychic terrain and somehow pivot and like hold off on the Trick Room, I think no matter what you have to do for this though, even with that, you're gonna have yourself into a long game. Get locked in, get focused, because these are definitely gonna be timer games probably.
Yeah, run your calcs, see how much bulk you need.
Oh, this is a fun one.
Yep, so now we got the Florida Eevees.
Glasstree Air Team.
Yep.
Oof. That is only one Eevee in sight. One evolution in sight.
At least there's one. Not many of the evolution. Actually, is Sylveon the only drafted evolution this league?
No, this can't be.
Because I don't think anybody took Umbreon or
Jolteon.
No
one grabbed Umbreon. Oh, yeah, you might be right, because no one ever grabs... I think... No, did somebody grab Leafeon? I think somebody grabbed Leafeon, right?
I'm
mistaken?
I don't think so.
Let's see.
Because the Sun team didn't need Leafeon.
She got everything else.
Yeah, they didn't need it.
she had everything else.
So, yeah, I think this is the only Eevee, which, like, at least it's on the Eevees.
Yeah, it definitely is the only one. I mean, it's definitely has its role. I mean, you could set up multiple weakness policies actually between the T-Tar and the Dracozolt if you really wanted to. You have Defiant with the Braviary for because a lot of the sweepers here are mostly physical attackers. So, I mean, having that Braviary is definitely important. You have to respect that coming, and then. The Butterfree and the Klefki are very, very interesting picks here because, I mean, what I love about Klefki is that I think it's definitely an underrated screen setter.
Yeah.
A prankster mon overall, it's definitely underrated. And then the Butterfree, I mean, like I said, it has a broken sleep powder when it's like it can't miss it. Like
Compound Eyes is a silly thing. So the combination of Tailwind, Rage Powder, Sleep Powder, and then your pick of coverage move. Right. It's just always going to be a good Butterfree set.
Then you got the freaking Glastrier that's just like, oh my god. So many ways it could be run, and it's so annoying to deal with if you don't have the right tools to handle it.
Yeah.
And then actually, this team is a really big threat. I mean, you got the Cresselia to out bulk. You got multiple ways of just bulking yourself out so that your sweepers can just get hits off, and just you could probably end game things with either Dracozolt or maybe, or even Braviary. But in the end, like, the bulk and how this team runs through is definitely going to be what defines who wins in a week out, for sure, because you got multiple ways that this team could run with Sandrush, Dracozolt, T-Tar. You got, like I said, the Braviary with either the Blaziken or the Glastrier, if you want to just do straight up screen support off the rip. And then you even got Quash with Alolan Persian, which I think is actually a really good pick for this team. I think Quash? Alolan Persian gets Quash.
Oh.
And Alolan Persian is a very, very underutilized mon, in my opinion. I think it is a very, 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 very good pick. Very good pick. Quash gets Fake Out. It gets a whole bunch of really good support moves. And because of its ability Fur Coat, it definitely could survive on the field for even a lot longer than you think because of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Fairy types definitely are something you're going to want with this team, considering that there's no really any steals that really address it, except for the steel type coverage that this team has, because Clefly's not really a steel type threat. But you're definitely going to have a hard time dealing with that, for sure, with all of this just bulk that is going on here.
Yeah, definitely gotta be hitting things for super effective against this team, which is kind of scary to say given how many good weakness policy mons there are in this team.
Yeah,
I think the big thing is trying to outspeed this team, preventing Braviary from tailwinding, and kind of going from there is going to be big.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think this team benefits, I don't know, from a lot of different things, because like, you can go fast or you can go slow. That's the thing you got to figure out what the team's going to do, basically. So it has a lot of coverage in that area because of that, because it has multiple options of being run between Weather, Trick Room, and Tailwind. It functions in all of those capacities. Because of that, it definitely is something to deal with, and a very annoying thing to deal with, for sure.
Yeah, honestly, I think the only tool that this team is missing is an Intimidate mon. Otherwise, the team pretty well bet.
This team's sick. Yeah, this team's sick.
Okay, so we got TMNT. This is your team. I'll let you start with this.
Oh, really? All right. So I'm gonna say, like, this wasn't what I had in mind. Granted, I did get a lot of what I did actually want. I mean, I had a couple picks that I got sniped, but I did like grabbing the Thunderous because of just the functionality of it being another one that has multiple ways of being run, and the utility, and then just like the threat that it is that you have to respect. You know, like you're either gonna get a support Thunderous, or you're either gonna get a Defiant Thunderous, and neither are very fun to deal with for any team. Like you know, so it's definitely something that it's like a 50-50 even in team preview. So that's kind of why I really wanted to nab it, and then I was able to get Blastoise and Chomp. I was like, all right, cool. At least I got like the main ones that I really, really wanted for this team. I think I had the envision plan was Garchomp and Didi, and then Corviknight instead of a Sharp, and then what was it supposed to be for flavor? Oh, Snorlax. Snorlax was supposed to be on this team. Everything else stays the same. Everything else would have stayed the same, but I had to adjust, and I think I like my adjustments overall because of the access. I mean, I needed redirection for this team just because, you know, there's so many different things that work against this team, but the redirection helps. Also, the multiple Defiant on this team.
Yeah, you have two Defiant and a Clear Body. Like, how are you dealing with Garchomp because like Garchomp's pretty weak to Intimidate, but I don't know if I want to bring Intimidate Pokemon against your team.
Right, because they kind of like are useless in a sense because of that. You know, and that's why I was like kind of leaning towards like, all right, cool. If I picked my last A pick, which was Regirock, and honestly, it was tough for me because I was very sideways about how I wanted to run things. So I didn't want to have multiple 4x weaknesses because I was really considering Heatran for this team because I really like the stronger Steel type or a max Steel type, another potential strong max Steel type, and I think Heatran is really good at that. But I think what Regirock provides is the coverage that this team needs for Ice. Because of the fact that I have Garchomp and Thundurus, and even Hawlucha, and like, you know, they're like the Maximons that I have definitely needed that coverage and boost, and so I settled for Bisharp too because, you know, granted it's frail, but you know, you get that thing off in the right position, it hits really hard if it gets a boost.
Bisharp is always one mistake from your opponent away from dominating the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And
there's just the 5 max options this team has is a scary spread of different things to try to deal with. Between Thundurus, Regirock, Garchomp, Blastoise, Hawlucha. I guess technically Turtonator as well, but we'll call that what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember the word I'm looking for. It's your team mascot Pokemon, so it's
honestly, I expect Turtonator to carry every week.
Well, I think
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if people don't respect it, then yeah, there's no reason why you can't.
I think the one I really like on this team, because I haven't used it and I picked it up because I really wanted to try it out because I think it has a nice utility and like 3 really good abilities, is the Slowking. I mean, I think the Slowking is definitely something I'm willing and interested in exploring a little bit more throughout the draft if I do get to use it, because it has so much like good just move pool wise. It has so many good moves like that I didn't even know it had, and I was like, wow. Like I needed a Trick Room on, and I was always expecting to grab one of the slow poke evolutions or variants. Like it didn't really matter which one, but this one is like Curious Medicine. Like, okay, cool, I don't need to bring a Defiant Mount, I'll just switch it in and just reset Garchomp, like if I really had to. And if you want to bring a Defiant something, if you decide to Fake Tears me and I switch it in and just reset my Fake Tears, like the drops that I have, like I think it's such a crazy ability to have. Like if it was like a Haze, like I think this mon would be completely broken.
Yeah, no,
like,
if
that kind of ability.
If Slowking Galarian form just hazed when it entered, I think it would be like top 10 Pikalytics usage. I'm not even joking. It would be
so good. It would be so good. But I mean, it definitely has good utility. Just resetting your own mons stats. You know, whenever they get dropped, and you have to deal with annoying mons that try to drop it, like Whimsicott or Liepard or even Grimmsnarl or Morgrim. You know, there's definitely an option there. And then, I mean, Unaware Clefable, it's like so underutilized in my opinion. That's why I was pretty okay with getting it.
You do have to promise me that 1 week you just run Metronome on Clefable, and that's what you do.
No, I have something actually really annoying mine. Like, I mean, every week I try to have some type of a niche. I was really considering my first week to do something really memey, but like I was like, I don't know if I want to do that the first week out. Like, I think I'll just wait towards the end of the season to do that.
Mm-hmm. See where you are in the standings and how important it is.
Like,
I mean, hey,
just
lock up the first seed in the first 6 weeks, and then this last week you can do whatever you want.
I will say this one story. I had an idea of this amazing meme, and it was when I had Toga Tick, and I was gonna run Hustle Toga Tick, and I never got to use it because I didn't need to. But I was so ready to do it. I was just so ready to pull the trigger. So definitely respect the memes because they could come from anywhere on this team.
Yeah, it's too bad Thwacky doesn't get Rillaboom's Gigantamax. Otherwise, that'd be another gimmicky thing to do.
Dude, Thwacky's bulk with Eevees is kind of crazy though. Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. Jesus Christ, because I didn't realize how like little of a difference it made. Like it gets better stats. The only thing you really lose on is the attack and the HP, but the defense and the special defense are so good with Eevees.
Yeah. It's just mostly the opportunity cost of not having a different item. But support-wise, Thwacky gets all the same good stuff Rillaboom does, so it can just sit there and be a menace.
Right.
It can also self-grassy glide into Regirock or Blastoise to proc weakness policies, which I expect to happen at some point.
Don't give away all the text. Don't give away all the text.
Okay, I'll edit that out. Okay, moving on to Psycho Salazzles. This is gonna be our last team. We got freaking Chocolate's team.
Eggy.
Yep, we got Eggy and we got Rain. And we got Grimmsnarl.
And we have Unburden. We have Driftbloom terrain stuff. This is definitely an interesting team, to say the least. Like, I mean, I think, and I really wish, like the only thing I would say about this team, like, I like it overall. The only thing I really wish was probably having a hardcore steel type. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, Berserker's cool, but it definitely has like, I don't know, just one that frail weakness. But I mean, it definitely could hit hard because I mean, Driftbloom is so annoying to deal with. Like, it really is. Like, it is such a menace once you get that Unburden off. And I mean, Tapu Bulu here, like, it's definitely a sleeper for sure for this team because it has such good support with the rain that you only really would want to have a poison move then to hit it because of the rain. The fire move's not going to really do much. And then, I mean, you don't really want to bring a steel type into this team either, except for the Mamoswine. So, and with
steel
that,
hits
I mean,
Mamoswine and Grimmsnarl
and
Bulu.
Oh, true. Yeah. So there is that, but I mean, you have to respect the Kingdra, and then even the Trick Room mode for this team. I mean, Eggy is like pretty strong overall because of the multiple ways it can be run. I mean, the 4 times ice weakness is not fun to deal with, but I mean, you definitely have bulk with the Reuniclus. I don't know. I definitely do like the disruption with this team for sure. Like, I mean, the Grimmsnarl is just amazing. It's so busted.
Yeah.
Like, there's way too much functionality of what you never know what type of Grimmsnarl it's gonna be. And then you obviously have like
Grimmsnarl gets everything except for weather moves. It feels like.
Right. I guess my biggest thing that I want from this team is a late game sweeper. That's about it. Like, because I don't know if Mamoswine really is one. Maybe
Mamoswine is not.
Yeah, like, but there's definitely a lot of things that can happen with this team for sure. Like, you have a lot of ways to operate. You have multiple ways of setting up Trick Room. You have two ways of setting up Tailwind, and then you got weather, and then you got screens. Like this seems definitely a menace, and you have to respect it for sure.
Yeah, I almost feel like the Reuniclus plus Azalf is weird.
Yeah, double psychic. Just double psychic. Yeah, I know. That's why I was like trying to like.
I feel like this team is like
myself.
1 or 2 waivers and it's C tier away from being unstoppable.
I think. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think Reuniclus is just outclasses, in my opinion, the Azalf, because the Azalf. I don't know. Because.
Yeah, I feel like
Azalf could be physical or special.
Mm-hmm.
That's the good thing. And then did it have a way to self proc? I don't think there is, right? No. Oh no, there is. There is a way to self proc. You could self sucker punch.
Oh yeah. Does Drifblim get Shadow Sneak? I don't think so. I have Drifblim is like weird move pool.
Drifblim has an amazing, crazy set of moves. Like, yeah, at its arsenal.
It has a lot of good moves, but it's like it gets a lot of moves you don't expect and doesn't get a lot of moves you expect.
Yeah, just not having a good airstream is annoying for sure.
Yeah.
But
God, could you imagine if Drifblim had Hurricane?
Oh.
God.
It would be so much better.
Yeah.
It would be so much better if it had a better flying type move, that's for sure.
Oh,
that is for sure.
I know. Being weird.
I mean, it has really good moves like Strength Sap. It has the Will-O-Wisp. It has, obviously Tailwind. It has even Clear Smog, which is really, really good move to have in your arsenal.
Yeah.
When you don't seem to have. Right. Yeah. It has a really, really good move pool.
I've definitely run Drifblim with Weather Move plus Weather Ball before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, that's another thing it definitely does good at too. Especially when you're going up against a weather team, like oof, it definitely can do some big. I mean, you have let's sit here and think like you can max the Mammo, the Kingdra, even the Drifblim. You could also potentially max. Yeah, I think you can max the Tapu Bulu too. I think.
I mean, like with it next to the Drifblim to get the Tailwind off with Unburden. The biggest problem with Tapu Bulu is its max moves have no effect. And the 4 times weakness to poison, but the poison weakness is not super relevant on, like, is anything else weak to poison? I guess Eggy is, no. And so is...
Is Eggy? I thought it's
Eggy's a grass type.
But it's also a dragon. Wouldn't a dragon make it neutral?
No. Dragon resists the 3 starter types in electric.
I know, yeah, it definitely has a 4 times ice. Let's see. Exeggutor. Eggy. I mean, honestly, that's another one that could max too. Oh yeah, it is weak to poison. Sheesh.
Technically, Grimmsnarl can be a max option too. It's just very uncommon. Don't snooze on the max snooze.
I maxed Grimmsnarl on Tetsu when I brought Eggy.
So he's copying you, is what you're saying.
No. This isn't Tetsu. Sunny Hokulaz is not Tetsu.
Oh yeah, this isn't Tetsu. What am I thinking?
It's freaking chocolate.
This is chocolate. Yeah. Forget what I said.
Tetsu's gonna remember that Grimmsnarl Eggy core if they ever go up against this team.
Well, Tetsu's not really playing. They're just kind of like subbing for one of the teams.
Sub the week against the Salazzles, please. I want to see Eggy come. I think Eggy's another one that could max too for sure. It has, it hits really hard if it gets set up right. It really can.
Yeah, I think that's the last team.
That's all, everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for everyone for either tuning into the Twitch streams or watching the YouTube videos afterwards. Yeah, you guys have a good one.